Sometimes you get into something just on a promise that it's good, great even. Tempted by a small size sample, we extrapolate that the whole thing is awesome. Oh, how deceiving can it be, and even devious in some cases. This time around we're gonna talk about Dying Light 2 Stay Human, video game with a great promise and even greater potential. I still remember those videos with a commentary of what we were to expect from the new Techland title. That was a sequel to very well received Dying Light. It was all looking so enticing, so I was fully optimistic about the whole thing. Oh, how delusional I was, I had no idea. That promise from trailers and other marketing materials continued when I started the game. After customizing all the options to my liking, I played through the very well crafted prologue. Full of storytelling, very tasteful mild hints and tutorials, I was really happy and satisfied, enjoying my playtime, not knowing what is lurking just behind the corner. And what monstrosity awaited me indeed. But first, I would like to talk about positive things from the early game, as I'm afraid if I wind myself up too much from negativity, I might simply forget about them completely. The main story is not bad in itself. It is quite generic post-apo tale about revenge, finding people that you were close to, and about changing from Avenger to Protector as the events unfold. It is nothing that we haven't seen before, but it's well presented from the immersive first-person perspective. You even can get used to some of the characters, so you kinda care what happens to them. I said kinda, because you can simply forget that they are meant to be treated like human beings. What do you mean? I hear you ask. Well, dear viewer, I'm just gonna tell you straight how it really is in the world of Dying Light 2, so you have no illusion about it no more. Let me start with characters, that, with a few exceptions, are only the caricatures of the real people. They do not fit in the world that the game tries to present to you. Oh no, far from it. They behave like everything was fine, no zombies lurking around, like we are not less remnants of a civilizations, reduced to just several settlements across whole wide country. They are more similar to some big city assholes that cannot see beyond their own petty affairs, and items of little value. To inflame things even more, they will send you on the worst side quests I have ever experienced. Oh man, oh gosh, it is really unpleasant more often than not. If we're really gonna act like this during real-world post-apocalypse times, we are doomed indeed. It really makes you step outside of the storytelling and think to yourself, this game be dumb, instead of enjoying the best it has to offer. And that is not much, by the way. Time and time you are reminded that you are playing a game, instead of being immersed and well fed with entertainment during your leisure time. What a disappointment it really is. Well, yes, on the bright side you're gonna make some choices that will affect your playthrough, but it is simply not enough to make you feel like your time is well spent and not wasted. Speaking of choices, you are a thief and a murderer in this game. I wish I could change that with my quote-unquote meaningful choices. Sometimes I was just repelled by the actions of the main protagonist, if we even can call him that, and he goes by the name Aiden. Plenty of unnecessary violence against fellow human beings, and I'm not talking about situations when you need to defend yours and other lives. That I can understand, but the killing justified as a means to an end, with questionable reasons in the first place, it just makes me sick. But there is plenty of that in other games, I hear you say, dear viewer. Well, not exactly, because it is explained almost always by the game convention, for example dark satire, or by description of characters that are evidently villains. There is a thin line between good exposition of such delicate matters as violence between humans, and you really cannot describe it what it is, but when you play a game or watch a movie you can tell by just observing and hearing it. And do not take me for some delicate flower, oh no, I've seen and experienced plenty of brutality in my life, so I can tell when it's used with a clear purpose and when it's just disgusting. Okay, let's drop the topic already and talk about the cohesion of a story, and there is very little of it. Plenty of logical errors made, sure of that. Your choices often have consequences opposite to what you have imagined when choosing the option. It sometimes felt like another late BioWare RPG. Wherever you say no, your character says hell yeah. Very disappointing. To make things even worse, Aiden is a moron. He gets chip-shotted in every cutscene that he has chance to. Real tough guy, huh? At least he can parkour, right? And it feels very good to move around like an agile monkey, that I cannot deny. I played the first game several years ago, so I cannot really tell which one had better parkour, but I know it was good in both titles. But don't get all that happy so fast, dear friend, oh no. This pleasant system will be weaponized later in the game to annoy the heck out of you. When you gonna have to climb the tallest buildings with an obstacle course to beat on your way up. That was the straw that broke the camel's back, and made me uninstall Dying Light 2 after investing 22 hours in it. I was pissed. No, I was furious. What a disgrace. I have a strong feeling of malevolence for a second time when it comes to this game. Very strange indeed. Even if I have not finished the game, I still have plenty more to say about it. Take combat for example, a shining point in this oh so grim world. It's very pleasant, responsive and gory, with plenty of top tier animations. The only weak point of it's its complexity. As Aiden progresses in his combat skills, you're gonna have more and more keybinds to learn and combos to memorize. It felt like it was more complicated than playing your character in World of Warcraft during difficult raid encounter. Keep it simple, stupid, is the rule that should be followed when designing gameplay with zombies involved. We just like to get through them, it doesn't need to be as elaborate as executing championship level combo in the newest Mortal Kombat game. Character progression system is not bad in itself, it gives you fine rewarding feeling when you spend another point in one of two trees, or when upgrading your health and stamina. But the amount of looting, this is another situation where mainly single player game gives you more to loot and sort out than MMORPG. I mean, stop with this madness of padding the playtime, developers. Come on, we are not morons like Aiden, we see what you're doing. And who the hell in Techland thought it would be a good idea to make you interact with the same things in two different ways? In some cases you single press the button, in others you hold it. That is annoying beyond belief, and the unnecessary contradiction to assuring quality of life to your players. This whole thing feels like a challenge between Techland developers. I can hear one of them saying, "You think Ubisoft games are terrible with all those towers, redundant game mechanics and side activities no one asked for? Hold my beer. Oh, you bastards, I will not forget this, be sure of that." And what goes after every unnecessary mechanic? Freaking tutorial in the form of static screen. And you will be seeing it a lot. I mean a lot. And what to do about all that loot laying around everywhere? I know, said another dev. We will implement Witcher senses into our game. Damn geniuses. And what they do to justify it? They throw on top of that some detective elements to the quests here and there. Oh boy, I really try to control myself here and avoid usage of profanity and cursing. It costs me a lot of willpower in this case, but I will be more mature than characters in Dying Light 2 and just endure. Fuck! But the devs are not so bad, oh no. They care about you so much that they have implemented markers for everything even remotely important. You don't have to wander around and explore for yourself. Oh no, we don't want you to do that.
Wait a minute. This isn't my world. Disappointed!
Another disappointing thing is flashlight. You're gonna need to constantly turn it on and off during gameplay. Why not make it automatic? Oh, I forgot, quality of life doesn't exist here. Another proof of that is having multiple respawn options. How can it be bad, I hear you ask? Well, you never know which spawn option will be more beneficial to you until you die multiple times in the same place and check them all out. That's another time where devs could automate it to ease your pain and suffering in this zombie-infested plagueland, but no, not a chance in hell. And the final nail to the coffin of gameplay. Pull the cable minigame. That gets really annoying, really fast. Okay, we buried the gameplay in the mass grave together with the storytelling and characters. What have we left? Ah yes. Good graphics all the way from the lowest settings to the highest, so we can pick more fluidity or better details. Feels good to customize, but at the same time visual presentation will not blow you away. Dlss works great in this title, looking mostly better than native resolution rendered picture, getting rid of several graphical glitches, which is usually the other way around. But hey, more frames per second with mostly better picture? Sign me in anytime. But let me cool down my enthusiasm for the graphical presentation. Character models do not look the best, some of them look just fine in the best case, others mildly below average. Some of the textures looking worse than Fallout 76 beta ones, oh my, really awful look sometimes. And again, who the hell decided to throw floating particles and small objects everywhere? It is beyond irresponsible at this point. It looks like the allergic person's worst nightmare. You cannot outrun them, you cannot hide, they will be always there. Too much devil-filled levels that you cannot turn off doesn't help one bit, hell no. It can really strain your eyes in some scenes, and to top it all off like an icing on the cake, raindrops will add even more blur. Fuck off game, eyes are not windshields for the love of. And even if you can rest from time to time from all of that, the horrible disocclusion in some scenes reminds you that you are safe nowhere. Even when you're starting the game, you will get annoyed straight away by too many start screens to click through before you can continue so-called adventure. Well, at least music is very fitting for the game setting. I love calm flutes interrupted by industrial sounds in the main theme. Many guitar music pieces similar to The Last of Us. But sometimes music tunes are out of place. Oh well. And one of the main themes will drive you crazy by repetition. Trust me on that one. Last but not least are some technical glitches from time to time. Bugs that will trigger conditions unfavorable to you, even if you've done everything right. Oh well, what can you do? So, as I told you before, I haven't finished the game. I gave up after 22 hours, which not happens very often, but Dying Light 2 is a special case indeed. I guess Stay Human subtitle is there to calm you down, so you do not start plotting revenge against these game developers. This whole enterprise is really what I can sum up as the waste of pretty decent game engine, which is always sad to see, by someone that cares about technical aspects in video gaming industry. Remember the promise of good game in the intro? Yeah, well, it all went to shit like the post-apocalyptic world of Dying Light itself. What a waste. I guess I will see you next time in another Great Late Review.